Producing this content is time-consuming. Subscribing and liking encourages me to keep producing these videos. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to show you all how I configured my Stream Deck XL to operate my Atem Mini Extreme ISO seamlessly, saving me, and hopefully you too, a lot of time when setting up and preparing any live stream event, thus less stress. Although the Atem Mini Extreme has tons of buttons, a lot of functions still have to be operated via the Atem software control app. During a live stream though, I prefer not to handle any app on my computer next to the switcher panel of the Atem switcher, for which reason I chose to combine most useful functions in this Stream Deck XL. What I'm not going to show are all the purposes for which the Stream Deck device could be very useful, next to as a device to operate the Atem switchers. Even if you don't own a Stream Deck device, you can use the BitFocus companion web-based button layout for free. I wouldn't recommend such, as said, during a live stream production, since a mistake with a mouse on your computer is easily made and less relaxed while directing a live stream. So, stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button, like this video, and let's dive into the wonderful world of the Stream Deck devices, bells and whistles. My name is Peter Riemsalbaas, and this is Training on the Job. Out of the box, the Stream Deck devices look similar to this XL version. All black buttons except for one which shows the Stream Deck welcome logo, referring to the website of Elgato's Stream Deck. But now, how to get it up and running according to your needs in order to communicate between the Stream Deck device and the Atem Mini switcher, the Atem Mini Pro and the Atem Mini Extreme. You'll need to download and install the Stream Deck app from Elgato's website. A link is in the description below. That's not too difficult, and I assume you can. So let's move on. The buttons on the Stream Deck app are starting to live by dragging one of the many buttons on the right-hand side of the Stream Deck application to the virtual button layout. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll restrict myself to what is needed to get the Atem Mini switcher working via the Stream Deck device and one extra program which is often used in a live stream. The first button you need is a default page. Consider this as a table of contents. The default page helps you to navigate through different profiles, each for using different applications, like operating OBS, a Keynote presentation, your Philips Hue lights, or like playing your favorite songs via Spotify and many more. This default page can let the device's functionality grow in time. For the purpose of this video though, we concentrate on setting up the Stream Deck in a way which is efficient in a live show process, so to operate any of the Atem Mini switchers. So let's take a look at how I've configured this Stream Deck device and start with the default page. The default page does contain a referral to the Atem software control profile, as well as some programs you can activate by the click of a button. Of course, a selection is made of programs which may be useful while preparing your live stream. I mention the Atem Setup app, the Hyperdeck Setup app, the Companion app, and some more. Let me show you an example of how to operate, for instance, Keynote and how to set that up. First, we'll have to install the Keynote plugin into the Stream Deck application in order to get access to all the whistles and bells for the Keynote application to run through the Stream Deck device. Therefore, click the Stream Deck icon in the top of your screen, go to Store, search for Keynote, and install the plugin. Now you're good to go. I make a Keynote specific profile page. When the Keynote profile is triggered, at first you'll see a blank page like the out-of-the-box layout of the Stream Deck device. However, we already have a default page, which is our navigation base for the Stream Deck device. The table of contents, so to say. So it's preferable we refer in the Keynote profile to the overall default page in order to quickly being able to switch profiles. Like switching back to your Atem switcher profile, grab and drag the switch profile button on the right hand side of the screen of the Stream Deck application to the Keynote profile page. I prefer to put it at the bottom left corner of this page. Type in the title content or default profile and you're all set. You can now quickly switch between the Keynote profile page and the main table of contents or default profile page. You may want to add some extra commands into the Keynote profile page, like opening Keynote right away once you switch to the Keynote profile. Let's give it a try. So I delete this Keynote profile first and start all over. Instead of using a single switch profile action, I'm going to use the MultiAction button. Also on the right hand side of the screen of the Stream Deck application, under the tab Stream Deck. The commands for the MultiAction button will be switch profile and then open Keynote. So first we drag the switch profile action into the MultiAction window. Give the action an applicable name like Keynote profile. Skip the device if you only have one Stream Deck connected to your computer and choose the Keynote profile from the drop-down menu of the Profile tab. Next, drag the Open action into the MultiAction window. Choose the app Keynote, and again, you're all set. When you now go to the Keynote profile page, the application will start right away without extra commands and extra pushes of buttons. Now let's get the app up and running using the Stream Deck. First, we get rid of the Welcome button. Click and press the backspace or delete on your keyboard and confirm delete. Now open the Keynote tab on the right hand side of the Stream Deck and start dragging all 5 buttons one by one onto the button page. Done, you're good to go. In the preparation of a live stream where multiple slideshows will be shown to the audience, you may consider to number each slideshow in the order of the program. I personally use a kind of a call sheet to prepare any live stream slideshows. Therein, the order of the slideshows and the presenter are described in detail. When now programming a few buttons which will open the correct slideshow right when needed, you're making your workflow less stressful and very efficient. You'll never have to search for the slideshow you need. All you need to take care of ahead is storing the slideshows in a map on your computer, which will always be used for live stream slideshows. For that purpose, I use the Keynote map in my iCloud drive. The first slideshow then will be renamed as simple as 1, the second as 2, and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at how to get those buttons up and running in our Keynote profile page. Grab and drag the MultiAction button to the bottom of your layout. Grab and drag the System Open button into the MultiAction window. Give this one an applicable name like 1. Then choose Slideshow 1. This will open Slideshow 1 with Keynote. And now you can push the play button to set the slideshow full screen, ready to set in the preview window of the switcher. It's a good practice before closing the slideshow, especially when it's in full screen mode, to first stop it from running by pressing the pre-installed Run Stop button after it has been set to run. Now to close this slideshow before opening another, go to part 2 of the MultiAction window by clicking the second little dot under the icon or pressing the 2 icon in the top of the window. 2 actions have to be embedded into this window, which are Open Keynote, just to make sure the next action is not interfering with any other application. Close Open Slideshow, which is in fact the short key Command W or Control W on Windows machines. Copy and paste this first MultiAction button 4 times and adjust the titles accordingly, as well as the files to open, like Slideshow 2, 3, 4, and 5. All you need to take care of for each livestream now is just to replace the numbered slideshows with the ones that are going to be shown and write each one down in your call sheet for the show. So far, we've talked about applications in general which can be triggered by the Stream Deck device. Next, I'm going to show you how to set it up for your Atem Mini switcher.